Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're back. Oh my God, look at that! Actually came back. So
Yeah,
we were away for a few days, and we're trying to play catch up, and we're sort of we've been listening to some of you in Discord. We've been out on Twitter trying to figure out what's going on in comics this week, because it's another day, another
Fiasco.
another day, another drama. So the comic book industry is losing its collective shit again.
Well, how is this new?
It's not new. It's just another week. Well, I think what's newish in the last 2 or 3 weeks, especially, is that we have a lot of like established pros coming out and making these really wordy denouncements.
If it's wordier, it means more.
It means more. It's more heartfelt. The more words,
Or the more you can deny. Well, that's not exactly how I worded it, because I didn't put this particular verbiage in. I didn't put this particular pronoun in. So I was meaning something completely opposite than what I said with my long, grandiose post.
Yeah. So these pros are going out of their way to denounce Comicsgate. Talked about Comicsgate before. Everybody's losing their marbles, and these, now we had a couple of weeks ago, Bill Sienkiewicz came out with a very lengthy post, and, Geeky's shaking her head like, who cares? But it's, he was a big deal back in the day. And then, Scott Snyder, who people actually thought, might actually be kind of cool with Comicsgate. Nobody really knew, where he stood. Well, now he's come out against Comicsgates. Now, the latest person to make a big, wordy, long denouncement in public, I believe, is Frank Cho. Frank Cho has come out, and I'm going to read this because all of this sounds, they're very, very similar. These statements are very similar, and I think there are people behind the scenes who are putting them up to saying a lot of this, or they're just afraid of losing their jobs. One of the
Okay, I'll tell you what I think in a minute, but go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just read you Frank Cho. Frank Cho, very well-respected artist, fan favorite Frank Cho. It's come to my attention from various sources that people are associating me with Comicsgate. So maybe he's not talking about Comicsgate. Maybe he's talking about Comicsgate.
I don't know.
An alt-right hate group in the comic book field.
I still understand how it's alt-right, but okay.
As a proud liberal Democrat, I'm against everything Comicsgate stands for.
We're
Same.
We're like moderate, liberal,
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm against everything Comicsgate stands for.
What does that mean? Like, what does Comicsgate stand for? What does he think it stands for?
I think there are people behind the scenes who are telling them it's an alt-right hate group. It's a transphobic, anti-LGBTQ hate group. It's,
based on what?
Based on,
I'm just trying to understand where they're getting this from. I mean, based on, from what I've understood about it, it seems mostly, I think some things were said and done by certain people that were over the top, and I've said that from the beginning. I have not changed my stance on that. But from my understanding, I just thought it was people that just don't want, politics shoved down their throat at all turns in comics.
That is,
they don't want people to block them for being fans without even talking to them, just blocking them because they don't like it. That's what I understood it to be. Yeah. Anyway, and I don't really care about comics, so I'm just like, whatever. But go ahead.
I think so. Ryan says there picture of an Asian lady. Is that Frank Cho? No, I think that's supposed to be Jennifer Lawrence.
That's Jennifer Lawrence. She's not Asian.
So
anyway.
Frank Cho, I'm pro equal rights.
No, I think he means up here.
That's Frank Cho. That is Frank Cho. I'm pro equal rights. Yes. Same here.
So
Pro diversity. Yes. Same here. Pro comics. Yes. I always believe that everyone is welcome at the comic table. No one group should try to. I always believe that everyone is welcome at the comic table, and no one group should try to force another to their idea of what is normal and not normal.
You think?
So let me be very clear where I stand. Fuck Comicsgate. Maybe he's talking about another thing.
But wait, what's he being told? Because, I think most people agree with that. Equal rights, yes. Pro-diversity, yes. Pro-comics, yes. Everybody should be welcome at the table, as long as, it makes sense. You're telling stories that are, like, to tell the stories and true to the character, not just because you're trying to force your own personal agenda on it. Yeah. One group shouldn't force another and bully another. 100% agree with this. That's what we've been saying. And we're, like, in the middle, and we're like... That's what we've been saying.
So, Frank Cho, who was now what I'm seeing again, armchair observation, eating popcorn on the sidelines here, but what I'm seeing is that they're going after whoever is in charge of anti-Comicsgate or whatever it is. That there's some movement behind the scenes.
Yeah, I don't know what they call it.
So whoever is in charge of this is going out to the creators that they think are favorites of Comicsgaters. Frank Cho has been a favorite. Scott Snyder has been a favorite. Bill Sienkiewicz has been a favorite. And so what these guys are doing now is they're like, no, I don't like these people at all, because now that you've told me what they're all about.
Here's what I think is going on, and this is why we use the witch hunt analogy, which I say is what we call warlock hunt analogy, because, if you're a witch, you're automatically innocent.
No. Betty Brightweiser, they went after
a couple women,
maybe two women.
Aren't, because they flat out said that they are throwing in with Comicsgate. Anyway, it's a witch hunt, because what I think what's going on is, just from somebody looking at this in the middle and watching both sides, what I think is going on is, I think there is definitely a push in the media, especially that we work in media, that there is somebody behind the scenes, I'm not saying who,
somebody's
going around trying to wrangle all their people who write for different places, and for the good of you be the white knights and whatever the women would be, and you go out there and you learn them all. And you show them what's right. You make sure you get in there how this is all bad. And then the people that they think might possibly be siding with the other side, we got to make sure they know that if they don't play ball, they're going to find themselves not allowed at conventions. They're going to find themselves not allowed to have the books in comic stores. Because, you better stay on our side. Or they're telling them, oh, did you hear what they did? And they're skewing it a certain way, because people aren't taking the time to go look into themselves. They're just listening to whatever someone tells them.
That's what I think I'm more inclined to think it's. Now,
you better renounce it, like the witch trials. If you renounce it,
yes.
you admit that you are a witch. They pretty much killed you anyway. But if you admit
they killed you either way, it didn't matter.
Admit you're a witch, and you repent, and you repent from witchcraft, we'll let you live.
For now.
The other thing they would do is if you did, and people refused to admit they were witches because they weren't, and they refused to, and they were killed because they refused to take blame for something they didn't do.
Right.
But I think that's what's going on here. Is you're going to repent. You make sure you show everyone publicly that you are against witchcraft.
Yeah.
And then you can be part of our club again.
It's really weird with this, because it just seems very like we are. Captain Cummings, anyone who has talent is his favorite comics. Well, yeah, it just seems very odd that we have all of these professionals like one a day with very similar. I renounce Comicsgate and all of its whatever, because we have seen what happened to Alterna. Okay, if you don't renounce it,
just like saying, "Hey, thank you" to people on either side. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you say I like your books, he's like, "Okay, I'll retweet you and say thank you," which is a professional thing to do.
Yeah,
and he didn't want to get involved. Well, that's normal.
He didn't want to get
that's normal.
He didn't want to get involved. So he just was like, "No, I'm not," because he had a lot of pressure from people to try to get him to be like, you must publicly renounce. And he wouldn't do it. And because of it, they threatened to destroy him, basically.
Someone said it's like the reminiscent of the Red Scare of the 50s. It's like, McCarthyism. It's like, McCarthyism. It's just like, you better agree, you're going on trial, and you're going to report to us who all your friends are who might possibly be related tangibly to this.
Well, that's kind of what, I'm saying. Oh, hey, ever tell you have to do that, but thank you. Neon and Geeky have the tinfoil hats on Pathetic. Hey, Lights Above. Yeah, you were coming on some of our videos.
Look. Oh, she's got the She-Ra thing. That's that person.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what? I figure they're an expert on being pathetic, so they would know.
You're here to troll. We know it.
We just bow to your patheticness because you're clearly the expert on the subject. Anyway, back to people that matter. So, go ahead.
So yeah, this is just. We're seeing again. Having been in comics for like 15 years, off and on, the amount of fear that is. And again, you see what happened with Alterna. You see what happened with Honey Badger Radio. Like they were. She was banned. I don't understand what's going on. She was banned from. She was banned from a convention. Or banned from all Repop conventions or something for, pissing on the wrong person. So I think
I don't know what happened. I honestly can't comment because I don't know.
With Frank Cho, like in his case, like his business model now, I think is mostly conventions. Like I think he makes more money. He makes more money at conventions than he does, doing comic books. I don't think he does very many comic books anymore. But and if there is a threat out there that, hey, you're a hate monger, you're not going to be allowed at conventions. I mean, Peter Simeti Alternative was actually getting physical threats.
Yeah,
we saw the quartering go to Dragon Con get punched in the back of the head.
Here's what I'm saying.
By idiots.
If you're just watching this and you're just sitting in the middle watching this is where we came from, just sitting in the middle watching this. And, and like I said, I will say it again, like I've been saying, I did see a lot of things that I didn't like, that some things that DNC said I didn't like. And I will tell you, I just thought some of them went too far, which he has admitted and has apologized for. But on the flip side, I see a lot more bullying behavior coming from the left side. And that's somebody who leans left than I do on the right side. And it's basically, I don't see, people are getting physically attacked.
Yeah.
People are getting banned. And it's just, and it's for silly, stupid things too. It's not like, it's just for stupid things.
It's basically for not agreeing. And I think the comic book industry is freaking the hell out right now. And
oh my God. Shaming. I'm sorry. I have to just laugh at this idiot. But go ahead.
So anyway, we've seen this, behind the scenes for the last 15 years now. Yeah, you said you can't go to Conquer.
The Corner got banned on Twitch. He joked that he was going to probably get banned from Twitch, but then because I did see it, only reason I saw it was
what did he do?
I don't know, but he did a post on Twitch, and I don't disagree with him on this. Something I don't always agree with him because some things I think he says some stuff I don't agree with, but he was saying about Twitch about how there's a dress code for Twitch, which is true. And there are some women people coming on there, and they are doing body painting. They're putting
right.
Things on their nipples and then painting their bodies. So they're basically nude with body paint. And it's like, this is not appropriate attire for a stream that children could be on. And I don't disagree with him on that. But I don't know what he did, but he joked he was probably kicked off Twitch anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, so hey everybody. So yeah, so I mean, it's actually, I mean, I gotta tell you, it's actually kind of unsettling that we're seeing all these pros say basically the same. It's like clockwork. It's like boom, 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 and then the media starts. Same thing every day.
Oh yeah, it's we expected it.
Every day you see, but this is how the game is played. This is how opinions are swayed. This is how So the one that's really funny. Again, I'm just kind of covering some stuff that people are sending us on Discord. Frank Cho, he's anti-Comicsgate. Now maybe that's
okay.
Well, Comicsgate. So whatever. But Scans Daily.
Yeah, this one I think is a common foe on both sides.
So this is kind of okay. So
as a creator, this is not a good thing.
So Scans Daily, which actually doesn't surprise me, given who runs.
No, we don't have we just kind of usually in the evenings. If we're gonna go live, it's usually
we
in the
have
evenings.
like day jobs.
Unless something happens in the afternoon, that's like, oh my God.
So, yeah, Frank's not against Comicsgate. He's against Comicsgate, a movement where Richard Z. Meyer and his cohorts invade. Yeah, I wondered if he's talking about the same thing. He might not be talking about the same thing. So Scans Daily, which does not surprise me given the leanings of the people who run it, that they were against it, but they put this big post up about, again, this week. It's like everybody's coming out.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's definitely coordinated, whatever. But this is typical. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less, honestly.
Yeah, so now they're basically like, yeah, don't talk about Comicsgate.
Don't talk about Comicsgate in our site that's all about stealing comics.
Well, okay, I was gonna bring this up. We
have to have standards on our site when we steal things.
Basically, the gist of this Scans Daily is that let's not talk about Comicsgate. Let's not give it attention. Let's not damage comics. Scans Daily posts illegal scans of comics. They post, here, look, this is like Domino 6. This is just literally just came out, and here it is. You can read it on their website, or most of it. Like, this is not legal. It's kind of hard for me to look, whatever point you might have had, it's hard for me to give you the moral high ground when you basically, your site is stolen content. And
here's the thing. This is, everybody's like, oh, fight each other. But these are the people that people should be fighting, because these are the people that, at the end of the day, people, why are they going to go buy the comics, no matter which side you're on? Why are they going to go buy books when they can go here and read them for free?
Yeah, let's talk about Scans
This
Daily.
is actually the big... If comic book shops are going out, I blame things like this more than anything.
Look, I'm Comics Explained. I can just show all these scans. Yeah, so here you have, all these comic scans on your website, but you're the moral authority on what's going to hurt comics.
Well, they wanted to deflect off of that. Like, everybody, because they were recently on Twitter, I know there was a big thing people were talking about, how doing things like this, where you're, putting it up there for free, and these kind of things are hurting sales of comics and comic book shops. And there was a big thing on Twitter like a couple weeks ago about it, and everybody was talking about it. So how's the best way to deflect off of people hating on us? Oh, we're going to find somebody else people don't like, and then we're going to say, well, we side with you as we steal your stuff.
This is called Please Don't Sue Us, is what this is called. We're going to side with you, please don't sue us. So it's really hard for me to, I get, but I'm not actually surprised Scans Daily is still around, because I know back in the day on LiveJournal, they used to post, I believe they used to post entire issues.
You brought up a good point. You showed it in your stream. You're just doing it for example. But yeah, you probably shouldn't show it anymore. I agree with them.
It's fair use.
Yeah, I would agree with them. Don't show it anymore. But so, you just want to get the point across.
I'm trying to get the point across that it's really hard to take the moral high ground when you literally
just terrible hypocrites.
Literally are running a website that posts illegal scans of comics. And Scans Daily is actually one of many sites. If you ask some comic book writers, including some friends of ours, they will tell you sites like Scans Daily absolutely have helped destroy.
Well, they hurt them directly.
Yes, they hurt them directly. We've got friends that
well, we were too for showing this stuff, so it was funny.
But we had friends that worked on indie comics. I mean, these comics only sold a couple thousand copies, but guess what? They're out there for free.
Yeah, and then the low sales actually cost them their jobs. So this, it is a big problem. And like someone else said with manga, you can find other things too, that it's a problem. And, like I said, Twitter, like a couple weeks ago, there was a big thing about it and how people shouldn't, they should buy their own copies of books. They shouldn't, read them for free online because that's causing, and the thing is, a lot of these people who are like, you're down with you people. We need to win, blah, blah, blah. We're like on the side of the good. And they're like a lot of the ones who don't spend money because they go read it for free.
Yeah, so this is really, this is just really just an odd, this is, again, this is, was a request at somebody on the Discord to kind of, and I just thought it was really odd because I'm like, Scans Daily, everybody hates Scans Daily because they steal
but they know it. And like I said, they were, places like this were under the microscope just a couple weeks ago on Twitter. So what's their comeback? Let's
deflect. We're against Comicsgate, guys. Hey, everybody, we're against Comicsgate. I'm like, no, you're actually against the entire comic book industry because you steal content.
We had to shut down. We had to go after like a cease and desist on several scraper sites on ours because you're like, well, it's free content, right? But on our site, we would get money from ads, and they would scrape it, and they were doing it for a bunch of people's webcomics. They would scrape them, and they put them on their site, and then they'd take the money for ads. So it was hurting people that way too.
Yeah. So, thank you. Hey, it's Super Cosmic Mutant Honey Candle Squid Inc. I think you hit something. They demand their streaming comics. No, that's what I think they do. I really do. I think this started on Greg.
This is not a new thing. This has been going on for a while. We've seen this a long time.
This site has been around since LiveJournal. Okay. It's been around since LiveJournal. LiveJournal basically became Tumblr because a lot of these people came from LiveJournal. Gail Simone came from LiveJournal.
This is not new.
And they've been putting out scans of comics for years. It started. I think it started maybe manga. Maybe it started with manga. But,
I know they do that for manga.
If you ask, some of the manga publishers that were big in the mid 2000s, some of them who we know very well, they will tell you that part of the reason that their business tanks, it wasn't just borders going out, but it was also scan sites like this stealing their content.
So this is actually, if someone wants to really point to something that's really, besides the fact that, if something sucks, people don't buy it, and you're rude to customers, it's a really bad idea. At the heart of it, I think everybody can agree on either side that places like this is one of the biggest problems. Yeah. Because we know this is not a new problem. Like we said, a decade ago, it was putting out some of the manga people. We know people who personally had books out like 2 or 3 years ago that their book got canceled because the sales were not, because everybody was saying, oh, I'm just going to go online and read it for free. And, it really, really, really doesn't help.
Yeah, thank you, Captain Cummings, for not reading stolen comics. Because this is, people don't realize, like, these scan sites have done more to damage the comic book industry than really, I mean, anything I can think of out there, because it's just like torrenting movies.
And this has been going for a long
and they're
longer.
Very easy to find. It's so much easier to find stolen comics than it is to find stolen movies, and it's so much easier. And these sites have been around for years.
Yeah, this is not new. This has been a problem. This has been chipping away at things for a long, long time. Yeah. So when people are like yelling about sales bottoming out, yes, it's partly because of their own bad behavior and, you know, people getting upset and not buying things. But I think honestly a bigger hunk of it is people just like the same people screaming and whining are also the ones who don't actually pay to support it. They want their free. Because let's face it, since the recession hit and everything else, people have shifted we saw this firsthand. People shifted their buying habits. Why webcomics did so well initially was because everybody wanted free. It doesn't cost me money. I don't have money now. I want free. And then unfortunately making things free actually was the downfall of webcomics also. But you know, people like just shifted their mentality about spending money. Well, I'm not going to spend money if I can go online and get it for free. Yeah, and you really can see it back to that point.
You can. And webcomics, I know there was some. You know, again, we're kind of seeing we're kind of seeing history repeating itself a little bit with the Comicsgate fiasco, where the comic book industry is definitely afraid of disruption. This happened 10, 15 years ago. Webcomics, they were.
I'm going to get my iPad because someone said me something. Go ahead.
Where are you going?
I'm going to get my iPad.
Geeky's going to go get some Jack Daniels.
No, I don't have Jack Daniels. Could kind of use it today.
But yeah, so they're just freaking out now. I just think it's so ironic that a site like Scans Daily would come out against Comicsgate too, when they're actually like literally hurting the comic book industry by posting stolen content. It's crazy.
I know, but but don't worry, we side with you. Don't look at us as we do bad things.
Yeah, don't sue us.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, don't sue us, Marvel. Image, as we steal your Domino 6, which just came out. We're stealing your stuff. Okay, so what else do we have to talk about? People were sending us all kinds of links, and we're trying to get. So we got Salem Witch Trials. Yes, absolutely going on right now. Chelsea Kane. I have no idea what's going on with this. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea. She had her book. Canceled before it came out.
Okay, well, first of all...
And she went on the attack and went after Marvel.
Well, okay, so first of all, this is a person that a couple years ago did, what was it, Mockingbird? And did the asked me about my feminist agenda shirt on the cover. Which right there, you know, clearly you're deliberately trying to troll people. I mean, at that point, I don't disagree with making women power a thing, but when you're deliberately kind of using it, and from things I've seen her say, she deliberately does try to, I think, stir the pot. I don't know what happened to her. They claim that there's a huge smear campaign. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Judging by now the Screen Rant article, I think goes into. Now here's the thing too. Like as soon as it came out that she had gotten fired before the book even came out. She was all over. She was all over like all the news sites.
Immediately. It was on every news site. And here's the thing. She even admits that Marvel told her to keep it quiet. They confirmed it but said, we need to keep it quiet. Because they don't say why. They said that they were going a different direction with Vision, which could be for a movie reason. It could be for a number of reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean it's about anything against her personally. It just could mean that they want to do something else.
She took it very personally because she went on the attack on like dozens
every
sites,
website.
Like every freaking... She's on EW. She's on Comic Book Resources, and then she. Puts a tweet out. I mean, as if Marvel, instead of Marvel asked me to keep this clean and quiet because apparently they've never met me. Hi guys, all caps. I'm the one who's the pain in the ass. Remember me now?
I am. Get in line.
Yeah.
I claimed that title first.
Chelsea, you're not going to be working for Marvel Comics or probably any arm of the Walt Disney Company ever again. Walt Disney's
not paying attention to Marvel half time. That's part of the problem. No. But somebody said that.
Oh, thank you, McKee. You don't have to do that. It hurts to hear, but I'm gonna still love his work and we'll continue to support him regardless. Are we talking about Frank Cho? I think a lot of these pros. I'll be honest. I think either they don't understand fully what's going on, because a lot of them aren't really. They're not even. Plugged in to what's going on social media. I think a lot, especially the older pros.
I think a lot of it's hearsay. When you're surrounded by people that, that's all they're talking about. You're surrounded by people who all are on the opposite side of this. You're only going to get one side of the story. Yeah. Which is, why we try to stay middle in the middle ground as much as we can, even though we do lean one way because we've seen so much shit. I just don't understand why bullying is okay if it's one side, but it's not okay if it's another.
It's not considered bullying. It's justice. From one side is justice. The other side is
but it's still bullying bullshit either way.
Yeah. So Captain Cummings, she attacked him last time. She got fired too. Yeah, I'm really, I am wondering if it wasn't, because here's how Disney works. Disney has a very long memory, and it's very possible that she got hired and then somebody was like, no, don't put her on a book. Don't you remember what happened last time?
I don't know.
And they might just pull the plug.
It could have simply been that they decided they're going to do something with a movie with it, that they might do a Vision movie and they wanted to do something else with it. This was going to be different.
Yeah.
Who knows? It doesn't even mean it's anything to do with her personally. But then she takes it as a personal whatever. And that's what makes me mad. You behave badly, you shouldn't be rewarded for it. I don't care who you are. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, this is, this is very strange, but again, this is like, it's not just, hey, because stuff happens all the time, especially when you're working for these big publishers, you're working for, Hollywood studios, whatever.
Yeah, stuff changes.
Stuff happens. Stuff gets pulled. Plugs get pulled all the time. God, we could tell you so many stories about stuff that happened to us just in the last couple of years of things behind the scenes that got plugs were pulled or whatever. We're not allowed to. And even then,
you know what? We didn't go on the internet and whine about it. No. I'm just saying.
No,
that's how the world works. That's this way the industry is. And if you don't understand that, don't work in it.
Things happen.
I don't care what side you're on. That's just the truth. Truth hurts.
Did you get paid? Maybe it's nothing personal. Maybe, again, they wanted to go in a different direction.
Yeah, as long as they paid you, it doesn't matter.
Did the check clear? I mean, we had stuff of ours that was optioned that we got paid for. We signed the contracts and we knew it may never see the light of day, and that happened.
But we still got paid.
We still cashed a check.
So we can't say anything.
Still signed the papers. We can't say anything.
This is the reality of being a grown-up and working in these industries. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of really immature, childish behavior by people who should know better. Because I think if they whine all over the internet, then because I think whatever happened last time, like I said, I don't know all the details. I went whine to the internet, and the internet backed me up, and I suddenly got a bunch more followers. So I'm going to use that again to try to get myself a platform. My platform's built on whining. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case here, but I've seen it in many other people before.
Yeah, and I think after a while, people were just kind of like, you can only kind of go back to that well.
I don't know the story enough to comment on that, but. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I think somebody at Marvel or Disney just said this is not a good idea to have her on this book. Probably.
Really? I think it's more because they're going to do something else with it.
Yeah, that could be. Like, we're going to totally change the direction of Vision. We just didn't like it. It doesn't.
Well, they saw where it was going, and it was a certain themes they saw they didn't like. And
there were some. Where did they say the one article? They basically said this version of Vision was going to be the wokest.
No, the daughter was woke.
The daughter was. Well, we know that because she's already in Champions. I guess made some.
Yeah,
some
that's what they said, but that's nothing new. So that wouldn't be enough to get rid of it. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm not on the inside of this and enough to know.
And I haven't. I read the first trade paperback of Tom King's Vision, and I liked it quite a bit. I actually liked it quite a bit. And then apparently, like, everybody died at some point because they're talking about Vision and Viv are the only two left. I'm like, whatever.
I don't know. I didn't read it. I love the illustrated book called "Does This Cape Make Me Look Fat? Pop Psychology for Superheroes."
Yeah.
I have kids too. It doesn't give me I don't get to go write things because I have kids. So anyway, there's actually a lot of people who don't have kids get to write children's books. Go figure that one out.
This might be the thing too. Captain Cummings says, I hate the family vision concept. Disney likes, and going back to what Geeky was saying, Disney likes brand synergy, and the Vision in the MCU is the old school Vision who's with the Scarlet Witch, and they might want to just keep Vision single and put him back with the Scarlet Witch. Now that they've got the Fox thing, they might want to go that way again. So she got a severance fee for it, which was a third of what she's going to make to not finish the other couple issues. It took 2 years for 4 issues.
Well, this is something that happens. I mean, we talked about this before. When you do, I know I can't speak to this, but I can speak to publishing deals. You might get a few $1,000s, and that's all you get for 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they cancel the book, they will buy you out, but that doesn't mean you'll get all the money that they were going to give you.
Mainstream and there usually is.
That's actually pretty standard.
That's with any project. I mean, they have kill fees with graphic design. They have it with writing projects. They have it with any kind of creative project, especially when you're dealing with a big company. They have a kill fee in there. So it does happen. I mean, it's especially for freelance. It's contingent.
I'm not going to say it's her fault. I don't know that. We
don't
know
her going to the press.
That was,
and being like, "F you, Marvel."
basically like trying to spin it that she was, and if you read the things, what she's saying isn't that they got rid of her for any reason, other than that they didn't want to, they decided that they were going to do something different from the book. She actually says that, but it's all being spun in such a way to make sure that that she was screwed over. Because have you met me? I don't know. No, I haven't met you. But I mean, I have a mouth too, so have you met me?
This right here, yeah, Marvel and or Disney is probably, I mean, if they weren't paying attention before, the fact that she hit like 8 major news outlets and is basically giving the finger to Marvel.
Yeah, clearly
and this is like the second time this has happened, apparently. This is...
Yeah, the meantime, what makes me angry is there's meantime of people who play ball in a professional and appropriate way. Doesn't matter what gender they are or whatever. There's people out there that are very good on any gender and that will play ball and do what they ask. And they don't get a turn, but this person gets another turn and then acts like a child again.
Yeah,
people get their books canceled all the time. This is nothing
happens
new.
All the time. There are publishing
all the time.
In mainstream publishing, like you actually can get like a 2 or 3 book deal, and they have the option, if your first book didn't sell or they want to go in a different direction or the money's just not there or whatever the hell is going on, the market's not in favor, they can actually 9 times out of 10 there's a clause in there they can buy out your other book and be like, you know what, I know we signed a 2-book deal,
but it didn't sell.
Yeah. Or this kind of book we don't think is right for the market, or we just don't like it, so we're gonna pull the.
Okay, I don't have a problem inherently with childless folk writing for kids. My trouble. But a troubling number do with an axe to grind. Yeah, with other entertain. I agree. However, I guess I'm kind of bitter because I'm a teacher. I work with kids all the time, and we have kids. And they basically the attitude is, well, you're not the kind of thing we're looking for because you don't really, that won't entertain kids. And I'm like, it's like you don't know the children audience, and I'm like hell I don't.
You know what's kind of weird? I mean, this is just kind of a weird observation, and we've talked about this before about the number of graphic novelists, cartoonists who are creating children's books.
That's what we're talking about.
Who don't actually have kids.
Right, and you don't have to have kids. It's not like a prerequisite.
No, it's not a prerequisite.
You might totally get kids and not have kids. I'm not saying that. But I'm seeing a lot of books that come out and I'm like, and they fail. Because I'm like, I can take one look at it and tell you, no kid's going to read this. And they do terrible. And I'm like, who thought this was an effing good idea in the first place? And that's what I get mad about. And like you said, there are some axe to grind, and I agree with that. There's a lot of, especially lately, there's a whole bunch coming out that I think are more to do with about certain agendas than it is about trying to entertain kids, but trying to make sure you educate them is what I guess, because you have to educate everybody.
Everybody has to be educated. Okay, so that's Chelsea Cain. This is not.
We're just covering the stuff people asked us to.
We're covering stuff people asked us to. I really, I've been gone for a couple of days. I'm not really 100% sure on everything that's going on. But this is not a good way to open doors to other employment opportunities. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and then even if other people are looking at you, they're like, you can't control your mouth, you can't behave in professional. You don't know what kind of agreements were signed. If you had an NDA and you had agreements and they asked you to keep it quiet and you wouldn't behave like this, it's not usually a good thing to do. Just saying.
So Gail Simone, who again really likes to punch Comicsgaters, that's like her thing. She does on on Twitter all day. I don't know. So she put up a tweet. Have one more stray thought about Comicsgate, and then I'm done for the day.
Yeah, right. That's like, this is gonna be a quick show. I swear.
I'll be done for this. And again, this is like, and she's one of the cheerleaders, the anti-Comicsgate cheerleaders, for sure. There's no pretending what this group is about. Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it's about, because it varies depending on who you talk to. But go ahead.
You can't be an adult and toe the party line that this isn't a movement that started because some female editors at Marvel had the temerity to take a photo celebrating the life of a beloved Marvel legend. They took a sweet moment honoring an important figure in comics history and her legacy, that would be Flo, and made it all about themselves and their personal failings.
Okay,
they harass these women endlessly. And these pros, and I didn't see more.
Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. This didn't start because of that picture, though.
No.
And then you said they retroactively said that it was for this person.
I have heard. I don't know 100%.
Either. I just remember I was like, what's the big one about a milk? What the heck does that have to do with anything?
Steinberg. Yeah,
I remember the picture. I was like, what? I don't get it, but okay.
Okay,
they're like milkshakes, so do I. Woohoo! Go chocolate.
Flo from Marvel. She was the
Flo from Progression.
Yeah, she hasn't been in the commercials lately. Oh my God, did she die?
I saw her.
Okay. So I didn't answer Gail Simone, but I did answer actually Diversity in Comics. Dun dun dun. I answered him because he posted this. Because oh my god, I actually follow the guy on Twitter.
Well, that's why you're banned.
That's why I'm
blocked
banned.
from these weird comic book shop accounts and everything.
He doesn't
know that. And they listen to us. They understand that we are, kind of like,
God.
If we see shit, doesn't matter which side it is. We'll say
so this is my hot take. Whether or not anybody cares about my opinions, most people don't. And I said, in my honest opinion, or in my humble opinion, I'm not very humble, so in my honest opinion, Comicsgate is the latest iteration of a very real consumer backlash against the mainstream comic book industry that has been going on for years. I forgot the 4 in there, but it has been going on for years. It did not begin with the milkshake photo, and it will not end with dozens of current year pros making wordy public denouncements.
No. Captain Cummings says someone showed Richard the milkshake picture on Twitter. He said fake geek. Okay, now I will say, as a woman, the being called a fake geek girl really pisses me off, and it pisses off a lot of women. I'm just going to tell you straight up, because now I'm not saying these women are or are not. I mean, I from my understanding, some of them really didn't have a background to be qualified for this, but okay, whatever. But I always hate when like, okay, oh, you like stars? Let me quiz you. And we've even had that. We've even had that on here.
Yeah,
because I'm a girl. I didn't agree with them on something. I'm fake. I'm a fake geek girl, and the fake geek girl thing really does piss me off. No, I have seen it personally, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying you shouldn't assume people are fake just from a picture. So that was what started it. That I don't know, because I saw the picture and I remember thinking I don't get it. Okay, good for them. They like milkshakes. I like milkshakes. Hooray. I was like, what's the problem?
I think, again, this is like my armchair observation, because we sort of walked away from comics for a while. We never really were in mainstream comics. We did mostly indie comics. And, half of them were canceled. Actually, Honey Candle Squid said, that's kind of what I was getting, was that they were like, because they did look kind of smug in the picture, but I was like, okay. And I think they acted like, oh, we're the super secret girl squad that you don't know exists. But a lot of these people everybody knew were there anyway. So it wasn't like a super secret, oh my God moment. Yeah, I think that was sort of the, that might be where you can pinpoint when things escalated. But here's the thing. Again, my opinion, from watching this shit from the shadows, for years, the comic book industry has been in decline for years. Okay.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of weird shit going on behind the scenes for years. Mm-hmm. This is not new. It basically, when the industry took a steeper nosedive and people came out on YouTube against the state of the industry, okay, people like Captain Cummings, came out and said, look, comics are kind of broken right now. Like, as a consumer, I don't like what I'm seeing. Rather than reacting to that, like, most companies would be like, oh, hey, we're sorry to hear that. Let's, talk about it. Everybody lost their freaking shit. They completely came unglued.
He said Heather Inches acted like she was getting horrible trolling. It was like one person. I'm seeing that a lot too. I'm seeing this. There's a couple of people that are commenting and saying bad things, and they're just like, it's like, did you see the video? Did you see the video? It's probably been around the internet a couple times, and it's like a courtroom or like some kind of like Congress meeting or something. And the one lady walks back to the back of the room, and clearly the lady in front, she doesn't like her, so she taps her on the head with a magazine, and the lady falls off on the floor, grabbing her head, going, oh, like this woman assaulted her, and she just bonked her on the head with a magazine. That's what it kind of reminds me of. It's like, how dare you? You're making me. I'm so scared. Oh my God. Oh, and now, I mean, if people are really being threatened, which I totally do think, I will be honest, I do think that there's more to it. I do think that some people, that wasn't these people specifically, maybe followers, might have gone too far, and that's possible. But and I do think that, because I think we're seeing it on the right side too. That people are going too far from the left to the right. Yeah. I'm sure from the right to left, same things happen.
Crazies come in every flavor.
Doesn't matter what side you're on. There's crazies.
So,
but not to the extent that they're making it sound.
Now here's my take on it too, because again, I've actually been watching this since before, because I got dragged into it unwillingly. I basically did an article last summer, like last June or July, talking about the state of Marvel Comics as it related to Disney and Walt Disney's, how they view their comics division, and how Disney usually handles stuff like this. Disney handles it better than Marvel.
Yeah.
But Disney has like a zero tolerance for this kind of crap. But anyway, so I put that out there. I got dragged into
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your thunder. I changed it on you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't know you were changing anything on me.
Go ahead.
I'm a narcissist, so I have
I
to
know
make
you
it
are.
I took the narcissist test and I freaking I had every one of them.
No, it was like 8 of them and you had like half. Anyway.
I had like half of them. I'm half of a narcissist.
No, but it wasn't like straight on narcissist.
Why are we talking about
it was more
me?
like a business leader thing. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh God. Okay, so anyway, but what I'm trying to say is like before it was even Comicsgate, I've been watching this stuff before the milkshake photo.
Yeah, it was not that.
I've been watching this. We have been aware of the weird shit going on behind the scenes, just from our own personal experience in comics, going back 3, 4, 5 years.
I was gonna say, you know what? There's been a lot of crap that's been done to us for different reasons on different things, and not once did we turn to Twitter, and be like, "Well, they told me not to say anything." But screw them, F them. I'm going to come here and tell them how this, because that's not how you behave professionally. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just, it's crazy.
A lot of shit we're not talking about or bringing up.
No.
It's just like, you just deal with it and you put your big girl pants or big boy pants, or I'm going to judge whatever kind of pants you want to wear, on, and you go and you lift your head up high and you move on, and you go forward on another day. You don't, why does everybody have to I got a hangle, I got to run to Twitter and whine about it. That
God, everybody.
I got my hand. That effing refrigerator, how dare it?
Well, I would talk about the other. I'd talk about the other form of narcissism, but we decided we weren't going to talk about that.
Well, you can talk about it if you want to.
Okay, so there's read an article, and this is actually one of Neil Gaiman tweeted, and I'm not going to go into.
Well, you didn't really. You were kind of saying it to me wrong, but go ahead.
I'd say a lot of things wrong, but
yes,
even when I'm wrong, I'm right because I'm me.
That's right. That's right.
So that's how confident I am. Even when I am wrong, I am right. They basically, Neil Gaiman was talking about 2 different kinds of narcissists.
Pants are optional. Go ahead.
Wait.
On the internet. No, see,
what the hell are you talking about?
I don't wear pants. I said pants are optional on the internet. But go ahead.
So, and we talked about, there are the sort of extroverted narcissists, which are obviously narcissists. And then you have the sort of like subdued narcissists, which they want to rule the world. But they're too backwards and shy to do it. But they're just sort of it's almost like they're scheming behind the scenes.
That's not what it really was talking about. But okay.
Well, I'm saying that because this is my version of it. Because I've seen people like this. I know people like this. They're like the damn sheep in Zootopia. Where you think they're nice and polite and kind, and they're really actually devious and scheming.
They're talking about imposter syndrome, and there are a lot. If you hang out on Twitter, you'll find a lot of people are constantly like, why was it whatever? I feel like I don't belong there. And it was basically fishing, please tell me I belong here and tell me how great I am. And it was talking about those people, the people that are outwardly, they're like, oh, I know I'm not that great. I know I'm beneath so-and-so. They do, those kind of people. But then when you get them, privately, they're like, well, what the hell? Because I know I'm better than they are, and they got ahead of me, and those kind of people.
And that's what
it was talking about.
But no, there are people like this. And there are a lot of these people in comics where they come off as like it's almost like a two-faced type thing where it's like, oh, look at me, I'm just introverted and awkward and so shy. But
I think a lot of them really are introverted and awkward, and and they legitimately have an imposter syndrome going on, not to the extent of being a hidden narcissist. But I do agree with you. I've seen it in person.
Yeah, we've seen it
with several people.
There are people
that we knew.
I mean, I'll tell you, going back to Twitter, Captain Cummings saying about Twitter attacking themselves. We had just writing that article about Marvel sales numbers from a purely logical, numbers-based.
No sides taken.
Here's
just
the facts.
Logic and facts.
Right. Here are the facts. Here are the numbers. Here's what both sides are saying about the situation with Marvel Comics. Here's why the sales are going down according to 2 sides. Gave both sides equal, footing, whatever, and the shit hit the fan. So we had a lot of people. I had a lot of people unfollow me because of that and block me. And these are people.
We know you've told us many times.
I know, but they're very, very mousy, demure, very polite people. And I was just like, you don't think I know who blocked me? You don't think I know who unfollowed me? It's like you think you're being, Well, clever, but
they were probably afraid of people coming after them. Was part of the
well, they know me personally, and they know.
No, I wasn't meaning you. I meant people that they assumed you were one thing, and the people that they felt were going to hurt their chances of getting a gig.
No, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. There are people out there who are like, oh my God, once you're identified as being potentially toxic, like they will, to save their own...
Facts, white supremacy. Unfortunately.
To save their own asses in comics. This is how it works in comics, because comics is every rap for themselves. Everybody is a freelancer. You're basically your bestie, your best friend in comics is also your competition.
Right.
Okay. They will freaking knife each other in the back for that, because these gigs are getting harder and harder to find. So I had people that I actually considered friends in comics block me because
I know,
but maybe some of the people here haven't heard, and I'm a narcissist and I have to tell everybody my point of view. No, but just, and they would do it just because they want to save their own necks, and they want to make sure that the right people knew that they weren't following the wrong people. Because that at the end
they
of it,
thought they might get a cookie.
Right, they might get a cookie. I don't even think a lot of these people who are on block lists and stuff like that actually believe any of this shit. I think they're just like, if I want to stay employed or I want a shot at doing comics, then yes, I'll stab my friend in the back.
People will come and tell us flat out that they think it's bullshit too, but they go along with it because they're afraid they're going to lose their gig. I mean, and I understand where they're coming from. I mean, if that's all they have, I can understand it.
But some of them, that's not all they have.
Thing to do, but
I
remember I mentioned that to Neon
yes,
before.
Yes.
The other day I mentioned that.
About what?
The Mark Waid thing,
Mark's
yes,
comic
I remember,
that he was, he was told he wasn't the right guy to be writing a black superhero and yada yada, and now,
yeah, we were just talking about that
so is this deflection?
It probably.
I mean, is this because he seems to be like really knee deep in the anti Comicsgate camp.
I was going to say, someone said, Alex said about facts to white supremacy. Just like, if you don't like something, it's automatically misogyny. It's automatically racism, homophobia, transphobia. It doesn't mean it's true. It's just automatically labeled as that because, it can't be a woman who doesn't agree with you on like She-Ra. It has to be, a man because, I can't wrap my head around this because it kind of goes against my idea that women are all on our side.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I could give two shits about She-Ra. I'm just like, oh, it looks awful. And that's it. But Geeky's like, oh my God, that's my childhood.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, I'm not going to go on about it right now because I'm just jumped you for saying the same thing over and over. I'm just saying, as an example, it's like, I'm just using that as an example, but there's several different things, Star Wars and different things that women if they don't agree, they're just completely ignored. Because women have to be on our side because, we're defending women. We're defending the rights of women. So women have to be 100% agreeing with us or clearly there's something wrong with them. Because why would they not want us to defend their where they are?
Their honor.
Yeah.
All these white men coming out to defend all these minorities and women.
We're the men that will fight for your honor. They'll be the hero that I'm not dreaming of.
Whether or not they actually want to be defended, because nobody bothered asking them. A little bit of good news from Twitter. Peter Simeti selling a lot of comics.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, you better be careful because he's going to get harassed again for being, on the wrong side because we're talking about him.
Oh, no. I thought you said he was going to be harassed again for,
kicking ass and selling comics,
Yeah, because this is what the industry doesn't seem to want this. They don't seem to really actually like success, like financial success, because that means you're a sellout and that means that you're, clearly there's something wrong with you.
Sorry, irony. Whenever I hear the term white knighting, I think of the White Knights movie with the dancing. Sorry.
White Knights.
You remember, what was his name? That was a dancer.
John Travolta?
No, Brishnikov. Was that his name?
Brishnikov. Oh my God.
Was that his name?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Top Secret. Top Secret, where they're all like, they're spoofing Brishnikov and they're like jumping on the guy's packages.
Yeah.
And during the ballet
White
scene.
Knighting. That's what I think of. And I think that's
God.
The antithesis of what they want. Anyway, go ahead.
Otaku Dragon, your thoughts on Dragon Prince? We have thoughts, and we actually thought about it, and we didn't record a review yet. We actually started watching it. We're only halfway through the series. But
we have three more to go.
Yeah, we have 3 more to go. But
we will do one when we get done. It's good. We like.
Freaking love it so far.
We will get to that at another video. But go ahead. We're trying to catch up.
Yeah, we're trying to catch up. So Peter Simeti selling a lot of comics is good.
God love him. I booked
2 weeks ago. He was like suicidal. I mean, freaking and
I've done mailing before. That's a shit ton of work. I'm just saying.
That is a shit ton of work. And this is like, again, this is like, how can you if you want people to take your side, if you're anti-Comicsgate and you want people to take your side, when from my point of view, I saw you people harass this man who was neutral for being neutral. You harassed him for being neutral.
If you're in the middle, then you're considered just as bad as the far
right.
whatever. Because for some logic, I can't understand.
If you're not with us, you're against us.
But
right?
you might still be if you're partially with us, maybe possibly you're still our enemy. I'm just like.
Yeah. So Peter Samedi was harassed. They tried to destroy his business. They tried to break him because he would not come out and do that bit. The Frank Cho, the Bill Sienkiewicz, the Scott Snyder diatribe about denouncing Comicsgate. That's what they wanted. He wouldn't do it. Is there a link or invite or something for the Discord? Yeah, there is. They're actually in the write up, and I can get you another one here right now. I can go get you guys right here. Here we go. We're gonna copy that, and we're gonna pop it right into here. Love to have you guys in there.
Okay.
We talk about a lot of different things.
Sometimes. Try again.
Oh, come on.
I thought you did it before.
I did do it before. Why won't it let me do it? There we go.
Just didn't like you that time.
It doesn't nobody likes me anymore.
It's just, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. People are saying it comes for everyone, and I think that's what most people are trying to get across is that, they're making it that that most people are against diversity, and that's not true. People are against shoving agendas in on characters that it doesn't fit. I think people are
changing characters, who have never shown certain traits or been certain ways, like Iceman. Ever.
Well, you know what? I think it's also insulting to the people that are supposed to be representing a quote unquote, because you're taking, instead of making a new character, you're basically telling people is, I don't think a character based on a person like you can carry its own book unless we make an established character that way to carry the book. And that's kind of insulting, I think, in my opinion. But, what do I know? I'm just, a woman who doesn't count because I'm a woman who doesn't agree with them. On everything. What was I going to say? I was going to tell you something.
Yeah, well, I actually agree with this. I'm fine with people being in the middle. I said what annoys me is those that bend over backwards to try to be in the middle when they're clearly a good guy and a bad guy. Yeah, there actually is. I mean, like I said, Peter Samedi was harassed by anti-Comicsgaters because he was in the middle and he would not throw Comicsgate customers under the bus.
Right.
Publicly, which is what they wanted. He refused to do it.
Because customers are customers.
Yeah.
That'd be like Walmart. Like I said before, Walmart, a lot of people don't like Walmart for different practices. Agree or not agree. But they're not dumb enough. I mean, to me, that's like the stupidest thing you can do. It's like you're not winning when you throw your customers under the bus and you have nobody to buy your product.
Yeah.
That's how you go out of business. I just can't understand it. I was a business person. I can't wrap my head around that.
Cap Companies is right. I remember they had big campaigns. Comics are for everyone. They're trying to get kids to read comics.
Yeah,
they're trying to get they're trying to get more LGBTQ people to read comics, more minorities to read comics. And then once they got a certain group of people in there, then it became comics are basically for those we think are worthy of reading our comics. And if you're not.
Well, we were just talking about this from a business standpoint. It's like, they always use the term, like the widget example in business classes. And it'd be like if you had a widget and your widget was selling well for years and years and years, and then decided to move with the times, and now you're going to have you're going to update your widget. And suddenly your widget becomes more about the people making the widget than it is about the widget. And you make these changes to it that, are against what your current fan base is. But instead of just doing it gradually, maybe making some changes but keeping some the same so you can appeal to more people, you just start making these dramatic changes for no reason. And then when your customers don't like it, you start calling them names and they stop buying your widget. And then you tell everybody that your widgets aren't selling because your customers. And it's like, but that's not why they're not selling.
Well, New Coke. We talked about that many times. And they realized they made a mistake and they changed it. And they brought Classic Coke back.
Right.
And Coca-Cola is still in business. Coca-Cola, if they had stuck to their guns and forced everybody to drink New Coke, even though they didn't want it, they would have gone out of business 30 years ago.
And they lost money on that.
They lost a shit ton of money.
And it was, and it was a bad decision. But that happens sometimes. Sometimes, you got to try new things. You got to grow. And sometimes you make a move that doesn't work out. I'm not going to say it's a good or bad decision. It just doesn't work out. And in that case, you re-examine what the issues are. You fix it. It's not that hard. I don't understand why it's so hard.
And there's no reason why, quote unquote, diverse books can't exist alongside.
Yes.
And like, why does it have to be either or?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be either or?
Exactly.
Why can't you? Why can't? Hey, everybody! Why can't you? Why can't you keep the traditional characters familiar for the old school fans, and also introduce new characters?
Right.
Who
not saying one's better or not, just based on what they did with some characters. Like, the old characters you love are now Nazis and terrible, and the new characters are, they're way stronger and better. No, I'm just saying,
don't make it a pissing match between the old and new. Yeah,
just you exist, you coexist with people all the time, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
All you're teaching is intolerance, and you can't coexist while screaming about intolerance.
Coke's making cannabis-infused Coke.
Well, Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it, which is why it was Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I know, right?
So.
Wow, Coke really, they're going back to their roots, man. They want you to get high during getting that Coca-Cola. So Peter Simeti is doing well. I hope this continues. Peter Simeti will, as he becomes more successful, this is my personal opinion. These people hate success if it's not for their team.
They like success if it's for them.
They like success if it's one of theirs, quote unquote. If it's the quote unquote enemy, they hate success. Peter Simeti is going to need a lot of support from level-headed comic book fans, because I think he's in for a long, hard road. I really do.
The whole idea of hating the hating a success on it, because we don't agree with one thing that we think he did. And stuff like this, especially in an industry that's shrinking, and it needs to have a bigger reach than it has. It's like shrinking exponentially every day. You'd think that you'd want independents that are getting out there and getting seen other places to succeed, because by their success, it's going to bring more attention to the comics in general, which is going to bring attention to possibly to what you're doing. Yeah. So you'd think that you would want something to succeed. I know it's the crabs in the barrel mentality, but you'd think it was, you'd want someone to succeed, because by their success and by reaching other people and getting it out there, you might get a new audience that you didn't have before, like going into, what was he talking about, Dollar Trees or something? Or
Dollar
Generals.
Is freaking brilliant.
Dollar Generals. And places like that. It just helps everyone. But,
they don't see it that way. I've literally talked to people who they really think that if, they call them Cape Comics, a derogatory term for mainstream superhero comics, Cape Comics. They actually think that if Cape Comics disappeared tomorrow, that everybody would just flock to their really niche-y independent stuff. And that's not going to happen. If Cape Comics disappear, the comic shops are all going to go out of business. Right. Because they are the bread and butter of the comic shops. And they don't seem to understand that. Now, the graphic market, or the graphic novel market, is a little bit different. You can have stuff. But even then, like, graphic novels very seldom can exist without other kinds of books propping them up. Scholastic, they publish a handful of graphic novels every year. First Second is actually part of Macmillan, which does textbooks and everything else. So these comics they're niche indie comics are being bankrolled, propped up by other more profitable business divisions. They don't seem to understand how this works.
So I don't know. It's just new audiences might not fit into the huge box. That might be the case, but then that they might come in and be like, okay, I don't like this isn't for me, but these other things are better fit for me. I'm going to go read indies, or I'm going to go read, the super woke characters on this book, whatever. My point is, then it brings people in. I think a lot of the backbiting, I think a lot of the problem is that their money and the jobs are scarcer and scarcer and scarcer, and now the claws have to come out, and you have to fight.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is, like, I mean, this is like an end time scenario. You always hear about these.
The end of times.
No, it is. It's like you've got. I know, right? You've got these. My God, is everybody driving a Harley? Riding a Harley tonight? What the hell is going on?
Don't you know your engines?
I don't.
Let me learn you here.
Was that what was that?
That was a truck.
God, nobody has. So hey Matt. No, you came in at a good time, Matt. But no, this is like they don't. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I was thinking about Harleys, and I was thinking about the other day
Harley, though.
Yeah, I know, but I was thinking about Harley because I was thinking about how much I love this trike I saw at this car show the other day. Anyway,
I love you, but you're not really a riding type of guy.
A riding type of guy. I can handle a lawnmower pretty damn good.
It's a push mower, babe.
I can ride. I could ride it if I wanted to. You can ride anything if you put your mind to it. So anyway, you can write anything.
Like you can milk anything with nibbles.
You can milk
ride
anything with nibbles
if it has a mower
or
a motor. I can't speak. Anyway, yes. So.
Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh no, we're talking about the comics and the comic book industry and the Cape Comics. And yeah, I think what's going on is what we're seeing is, look, here's my take on it is the comic book industry is going to die. Like it's going to die. The way it is right now, it's going to die. The direct market is going to die. Its death is being hastened by this bullshit going on. Neon likes the bottom. Occasionally.
Don't answer.
Occasionally, you know.
Continue.
I'm not that much of a narcissist that I have to be the top. Anyway,
let's go around this
dibble
subject.
the pie. Yeah, that's what we call it. That's what we call it, dibbling the pie.
Okay, let's
continue. So we want to go. But yeah, so the comic book industry is like flipping the hell out because I think like collectively the people in the industry know it's burning down. They're being reminded of the success that eludes them. Like they're seeing other people being successful in an industry that's dying and they're jealous as hell. And like the claws are coming out and they're freaking out. And it's just like they're like, I joked about Denethor in Lord of the Rings where he's dousing himself with oil and lighting himself on fire, but he's also going to take his son with him.
Right.
Just because he can.
I'm thinking too. They're all jumping into other things too because they know it's not a good place to be. So that's what you see them jumping into animation. You see them jumping into webtoons. They just keep coming.
Oh my god, they got John Barrowman.
Which I like John Barrowman.
I like John Barrowman too, but come on, everybody's doing webtoons now. Giving him his own comic
starring him. I was like, what the hell? But he said about Dome Hammer said. Yeah, like I agree with you. What's great about manga, they don't reboot every few years, and they keep to themselves. So you get to see characters from the start to finish. Yes, which is why I like a lot of webcomics too, because it's not constant. Like we're gonna start again. They're
rebooting because they gotta get those number ones because people buy the number ones. I mean, that's as simple as that. They reboot because they're hoping. Success isn't for them. No, you're right. It isn't. They reboot every couple of years because they want the number ones. They're rebooting because they keep thinking, maybe someday they'll pick up some new readers. Like, it's a good place to jump on. It used to be the universes would reboot. Like when DC rebooted in 1980s, that was like a coup. Like nobody had like rebooted on that level before.
I think it's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call it. I think it's stupid. I understand, and this happens with webcomics a lot too. It's people come into it that are new readers and they see this huge archive and they're like, holy shit, that's too much. I don't want to read it. So I get why they do it every so often because they want to start getting new readers in their new blood, starting with something they can just pick up and go. But I'm like, if you really want to do it and you'll make the investment of time to catch up. I don't know. I just think it gets confusing. It's just a nightmare. But anyway. Hey,
thanks for joining the Discord. We've got a lot of people, like they're over there talking and we're not even here and they're like talking all the time, which is cool.
That's fine.
It's awesome. Thank you for joining and using our server. Okay, so more fun with comics. Speaking of comics burning down now, that Umbrella guy covers IDW. Oh, here we go. It's another Harley. Or a lawnmower. I can't tell the difference.
That one might have been a motorcycle. But that'd be dumb because it's raining.
That's not a Harley. That's not loud enough. Okay, so IDW is lighting itself on fire and burning itself to the freaking bone. That Umbrella guy did a video this morning. I watched part of it talking about their losses. Yeah, they're losing like almost $1 million this quarter, and I think for the year, I think he said it was like $7 million.
Not bad.
$7 million this year that they've lost so far.
It.
But this is coming from ICV2, which is actually an a well-respected industry publication.
Oh, they're going to tell them they're Comicsgate Nazis.
Because
they didn't say what they wanted. That's what they're going to tell them.
Yeah. So last year
they didn't say what they wanted, and you can't give facts because facts equal white supremacy.
Well, yeah, but
male supremacy. I'm sorry, I'll say male supremacy.
ICV2 though is usually pretty dead on with things, and they are. They did. Oh, it says the publishing division. Okay, here we go. Here comes the Sunshine and Kittens. The publishing division did post a sales increase in the first and sometime with sales growing 175,000 from 5.42 million a year ago to 5.6 million this year. Could also be cover price increase, and it could be Sonic the Hedgehog. Because Sonic the Hedgehog, I guess, actually did sell fairly well. Games are up 166,000. Again, you look at these numbers. Now I gotta tell you here, you want to put this in perspective. You want to put like why the industry is freaking out over Comicsgate in perspective. Like these dollar amounts for this major publisher, that's like a third of what Ethan Van Sciver did on one Frog comic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why they're freaking out, because they're like, oh my God, we're in the hole, and these guys are coming along, a handful of them, and making.
I'm sorry, I was reading this. The decline in comics and graphic novel publishing continues to be attributed to industry cyclical downward pressure driven by market leaders, along with the timing of significant major.
Blame Marvel, right? Blame Marvel. So, yeah, combined loss from all divisions of $500,000 almost for the quarter, down from 143 profit. A year ago, revenues were also down to $14.2 million from $16.7 million a year ago. The big sales decline was in IDW Entertainment, where sales were down $2.7 million versus a year ago period, producing a $746,000 operating loss. Brochure distribution advertising, because they actually do, I believe IDW does advertising for like the city of San Diego, tourism, and all that jazz. So they're
basically making it up on graphic design and advertising and PR firm. Things. Okay.
But I believe it's worse. I believe it's worse than this. I mean, they've had like everybody quit or get gone in the last year, and I think I have to go back to Umbrella Guy's video, but I think the way he breaks it down is it's worse than it actually looks on paper. Like they're massaging the numbers a little bit. Now you don't know what Marvel actually does, because Marvel buries their numbers in with Disney Publishing. So Disney will report what publishing does, and you don't know how much of that's Marvel, how much of that is their Hyperion books or whatever.
It's just considered publishing.
So they can hide. IDW can't hide because they're public, and they have to put this stuff out. So
where do the fans of comics go when the industry fails? Independent sites, webcomics, crowdfunding.
Yeah, I think what we're
Amazon.
I think what we're gonna see is unfortunately I think the direct market's screwed. It's living on borrowed time. I think it's been living on borrowed time. It's sort of like that aneurysm you just haven't had yet, but you're gonna have it, and the doctor's like, yeah, when you have it, you're done. And that's sort of the way I think the direct market's been for a decade plus now, where it's been living on borrowed time.
Yeah.
And
I think it's just, someone here said, I haven't been in comics for long, but to be honest, it's really making me lose faith in it to see it go the way of the gaming industry. Here's the thing. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think the main ones are doom and gloom. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I just think that they're just... The behavior is just so erratic. I don't even know what to tell you. But there's a lot, especially if you want to make comics or read them, there's a lot of places you can still make comics. A lot of places you can still read comics. You don't need these people to do it. What did you say?
Oh, Matt Deckard. Inflection. Success isn't for them.
That's right.
No, it isn't.
It isn't for them. Yeah.
IDW, I think, is going to go into just making TV shows and forget comics, I think, within the next year or two.
But their TV shows weren't doing good either.
No, their TV shows weren't doing good either.
I think they lost more money on that, didn't they?
Well, this is what happens when you take your company, which had started off strong, and you don't develop an original IP. They basically were just doing licensed comics for years, and now it's biting them in the ass because they have nothing to sell.
Oh, here, you have to explain this again. Would you have thought the MCU movies would have helped? You would think if they kept it to the MCU, but the MCU and the comic divisions are different, so they don't have to be the same. Even though they were going to try, I thought they were going to try to make them match up more, and then they decided not to.
I don't think. I mean, look, I've said it before. What TV shows? IDW actually is developing Lock and Key, I think, for Hulu or Netflix now. But they don't have that many original. They don't have that many original IPs. They had 30 Days a Night, and they did a movie of that years ago. But no, Disney doesn't give a shit about the comics. I think we've said this before, and it's true. Like Disney, they don't really care. They've got the MCU. To them, that is Marvel. When you see the theme park attractions that they're sinking millions and millions of dollars into, they're not basing them on the comic books.
No,
they
don't
basing
care, on the movies.
Because that's what everybody knows.
And
everybody knows the movies.
Yeah, and what is biting them in the ass, to be honest, is everybody's coming to it from the movies. Because we'll be honest here, most people watch the movies. They don't read the comics. No. They watch the movies. And they're going to be like, okay, you know what? I want more. I'm going to go read comics. Because like the dad's like, oh, when I was or the mom, when I was a kid, I used to read this comic. And I kind of remember these stories from when I was a kid. These are kind of based off of the ones I read. Let's go read the new comics. And they're buying the new comics. And that's not what they are.
No, and
so they're like, what the hell happened?
So honestly, I think when they did the all new, all different Marvel initiative where they replaced like all of the Avengers. That was the worst possible time to do that because that was prime. Like people were coming in, they were excited about the movies, taking the kids to a comic shop, maybe for the first time, to go buy comic books of characters that were completely unrecognizable from what they saw in movies. Which is what we said before. It's like you need to have those recognizable characters coexisting with
cohesive,
these newer characters.
Yeah,
you can't have them replaced.
Together.
Yeah, you can have them together.
I
think it was a bad move.
This one here.
Race Between Spider-Man Annual.
Yes.
Yeah,
we did.
It's typical.
I was like, what the hell?
Consider the source.
Do we think real quick before you do that? Someone said, "Do you think comic companies will die out?" I hope not, because if they do, it's going to put a lot of comic shops out of business.
There will be fewer of them. I think independence will become a bigger deal. I think we'll still have corporate comics, but I think even with Marvel, I am thinking eventually they'll just be jobbed out to other companies. Oh, thank you so much. You did not have to give us money, Subasa. Ryan Bogart, if they want diverse LGBTQ versions of established heroes, then why not do Elseworlds What If books and keep the LGBTQ diverse versions in those books? Well, this is kind of what they did with the Ultimate Universe. With Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, they killed Peter Parker off in the Ultimate Universe, but they brought Miles in. And so we had two different versions of Peter Parker. So you kind of pick, and a lot of people followed both, and I think it worked really well. And I was trying to explain that to Squid King because he's playing Spider-Man for PS4, and I'm trying to explain to him like how Miles Morales works. But then like I don't even know if Miles is in the proper Marvel universe now, or he's still in the Ultimate Universe, or what the hell's going on.
I'm thinking Miles, on the Arrowverse and stuff and all those. They some of them like Supergirl's is a different dimension than these other ones are a different dimension than the Flash on this. Or what I'm saying, like they're all different. Kind of like that. And you can do it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You can do that, and that's what we're saying. I mean, you could do them Elseworlds, or or if you want to do spin-offs of those books and make it just about them, or like share like the spotlight. I'm helping. Working together now. Until you get them their own spin-off book. If they're worried they can't carry their own book, which I still think is insulting. If they worry they can't carry their own book, then you build them up until that they can carry their own book.
Yeah, and that's how they used to do it. Like back in the 70s and 80s, a lot of times they would introduce the kind of the junior versions or the sidekick versions or the friends or whatever, and then eventually they would kind of drop them into the role, and it was organic. It made sense, for Rhodey to take over as Iron Man because he'd been in the comics for years. He proved himself. You don't just create some new character and drop him into the role. And even then, like when Rhodey took over, it's because Tony was a freaking drunk, and it made sense because everybody knew Tony was a drunk, and they sort of ignored that in the movies because they didn't want Tony.
But I'm just saying, I mean, you can completely coexist, and everybody, and you make characters that you can make characters for everyone, and you can appease your old fans and create new ones, and and maybe make old fans and fans of new characters. It's just that, but you have to actually figure a way to balance it, and it's the unbalanced approach is I think what the problem is. It's too much too fast, and there's no reason behind it. I think that people like, as long as it makes sense to them, they're okay. Oh, someone said about Kingdom Hearts, they're going to release the trailer tomorrow. Yay.
Oh yeah, we'll be all over that. So I don't know if we'll be all over here, but we'll be all over it.
I agree with this right here.
Guardians of the Galaxy was nothing and could carry a movie. You can make something virtually nothing if you want to. Yeah, and here's the thing with Disney. Like, Disney, literally, they could stop, and we've said this before, they could stop publishing the comics tomorrow.
You're not allowed to say that. That's just propaganda.
Oh, bullshit. They could stop publishing, and you don't think they're thinking about it? I think they're thinking about it. They could stop publishing the comics tomorrow and not have all the drama to deal with, and they could just internally come up with new... They could create new superheroes from scratch. They kind of did with, like, Coulson and stuff. They created new characters from scratch. They could create new characters from scratch at Disney, and just bypass the comics completely, and you know what? The general public wouldn't know any different. The general public wouldn't know if these characters...
Because they all know the movies.
They know the movies.
They know the merchandise. The merchandise you buy in the store is based on the movies, not on the comics. Almost always. Not always, but almost always. Mixed race isn't diverse enough. Do these people realize how insulting? You know what? I've noticed this. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but they talk about diversity. They talk about, what is diversity and how we need to focus on diversity. And then, like, for example, like the She-Ra writer's room, it was all very light-skinned women. And I'm like, where's the diversity?
Right? I know, right?
I'm like, diversity means what to them it means. It's like, you're not diverse unless, you're not as diverse as me because I'm this, that, and everything, but you're all diverse. Everybody's diverse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like the word Nazi, using it all the time, changes its meaning. I think diversity is being used so much it changes its meaning.
Yeah, I think it doesn't mean what you think it means. I mean, whoa.
That was a truck. Okay, that was a different truck.
Okay, we're playing a new game called Truck or Motorcycle.
That was a truck.
Truck or bike. That was a truck. Okay, thank you, Nemesis Blade. Miles is in the main. Yeah, I thought he was in the main now. I haven't really caught up with Spider-Man lately since the Convergence thing. But again, I think the Ultimate was actually, that was a good idea because you had this like alternate Marvel universe that you could do things with the characters. I mean, I think in the Ultimate universe, Colossus was gay in the Ultimate universe, and it didn't affect like, you know, mainline Colossus, but you could still have those.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there were alternate universes, I mean, if you say they are, just because you're one way in one universe does not mean you're the same way. It would be the same way. Different life choices happen, different things happen. You could be completely different. I mean, I could be flipping axe wielding, ass kicking murder in another dimension. You know,
you probably would be.
I probably would
be. You'd be damn good at it.
And I'd like women, and you know what? I'd be damn good at that too. But
wait, wait, I'm just saying. Let's back this. I'm gonna have to replay this.
It's still me. What? It's just a different version of me. You know. Anyway, sorry.
But where am I?
I didn't say you weren't there too. Maybe you're there too, or maybe I killed you, which would be really bad. And then I ruined my life and didn't know it.
Oh man!
Did you think they should just not allow crossovers for a good few years between comics? I don't know. I do think that crossovers get to be a bit much sometimes.
They used to be events. Like when I was a kid, I remember like Secret Wars. That was an event because that kind of major crossover didn't happen very often. And same with the original Infinity Gauntlet. Like that was a big deal. And now it's like every year there's an event, and it doesn't really mean anything. Captain Cummings says, I'm in college. These people in class talk exactly like these comic creators talk. Yes, because it all came from the colleges. It came from the colleges. Okay, Artist Alley. If you're in Artist Alley, and we're like, I feel bad because we're like always like the oldest people in Artist Alley, but if you're in Artist Alley with a bunch of like webcomics creators and you know, anime creators or fans and whatever, yeah, it is. I mean, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. And you know, I've tried having conversations with people before, and they just look at me like I have a third eye. Yeah, I'm just saying, but you know, a lot of it comes out of the colleges. I mean, it was even going on back when I was in college. Yeah. I mean, it was starting then. And I see all the time. I see with some of even the older high school kids, you know, they talk like this sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, you're allowed to think what you think, but you're wrong. But anyway, they think it because that's what they're conditioned to think. I mean, I really do. But I do think if you had alternate universes, someone said you can experiment with different things and see what works and see what doesn't, and it doesn't take away anything from the character. You know, a separate book. You know, it doesn't take anything away from, you know, you appeal to more people, but that costs extra money. I don't know. I think it's about money. I really do. I think a lot of it's money. Well, I think what's going on now. Maybe Neon's female. That's right. Maybe that's what I'm with. Neona. Maybe you know change. I would be hot. I'd have a rack too. You probably would. I would. I would have amazing tits. What about mine? I'm sorry. We're not going to talk about boobs. Okay. I'm a narcissist. Remember. I'm just saying. If I was in another dimension, I mean, like I'm saying, it could be completely different. I could be a crazed axe murderer who likes girls in another. And book. I would have amazing tits, and I'd like you. I would ride a Harley. Of course, yours would be like surgical though, so you probably would have perfect boobs because they would be, you know. Are you saying I'm fake? I'm a fake geek girl. Just because you have implants does not make you a fake geek girl. A lot of women who have, you know, women and people who become women have implants. That's nothing about being fake. I would. Well, it's fake, but you know what I'm saying. That doesn't make you less of a woman. I don't even know. Okay, let's just... I'm weirded out. You know, I agree with this. We need age diversity, and I agree with that. I agree with age diversity. I think there's so much ageism, it's bullshit. In animation, fake tit girl. No, in animation, so especially like, and even like, it feels like if you're over 35, like you're, you know, it's time to put you out of pasture. And in tech, especially, you know, I worked in tech for years, and there were actually guys in Silicon Valley like going out and guys getting plastic surgery and stuff to try to pass themselves off as like 29-year-olds because there's such ageism against older guys. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but try being a woman. If you want to talk about ageism, be a girl. Do you ever notice how certain actresses, after a certain age, you don't see them in movies much? You know, they disappear. Oh, I know. It's worse for women. I mean, these guys constantly, you like people I know who are dating and stuff, they're like a certain age, and they're like, as soon as you're over a certain age, the guys aren't interested because they want either a young girl, hot girl, you have to look a certain way. And I don't want to hear wham wham man babies because welcome to women's world, we always have to look good, or we're like, you know, too bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's when you need implants. 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 That's when you need implants.
Sorry, but
yeah.
I feel their pain. They should.
I know.
Now I know what it's like for women for years.
Well, it's like I was just wondering, just randomly the other day, I was like, whatever happened to Pam Dauber? Because they had a thing about Mork and Mindy. I'm like, oh yeah, she hasn't acted in like 30 years.
Well, it's because you get over a certain age and then you're too long on the tooth and they put you out because you're not as pretty anymore. Now what I do?
Nothing. You're being awesome as usual. I'm trying to figure out what is going on.
They're all talking about you, Neo.
Oh no. Okay, me being a hot chick. No, this is okay. This is it right here. This right here. This is what we're trying to say. And we said this in previous videos too. This whole thing about Comicsgate being an alt-right hate thing, whatever. This is the superficial surface story that the comic book industry is losing its shit. They are freaking out and they're trying to control the spice. They want to control the spice because the spice is not flowing to them as much as it used to. And there's still spice out there because other people are getting the spice. They're just not getting the spice. And
I'm listening. I'm trying
to
follow
so
you.
Anyway, so these pesky Fremen are out there, disrupting the spice flow, and they can't stand it. But this is about control. There's not a whole lot of money in comics anymore.
You have to control what's there.
So they have to, especially if you're working for corporate overlords, you've got to take as much of the pie as possible. And if you've got some people out there that are stirring shit up and diverting funds away from your bottom line. I mean, how can you go to your board meeting and explain, and give them this song and dance? The industry cyclical downward pressure driven by market leaders, along with
tornado weather,
along with the timing of thunder snow, along with the timing of significant major brand titles. Give that horse shit to your board of directors. And meanwhile, some dude made a frog comic and made half a $1 million off a cyber frog comic.
All I'm thinking about this. This when you're reading it. It's not like a weather thing. And it was the Weather Channel guy. He's the industry cyclical downward pressure is the Weather Channel guy. Look, I can't stand up. It's pushing against me. And then the people doing the big Indiegogos are just strolling along in the background. Like, what's up with that dude? And that's what it reminds me of.
Spice up your life. Rage and Ray's over 35 and in Silicon Valley. Congratulations, sir.
Yes,
that is quite an accomplishment.
You're awesome.
It means you're awesome, or you look like you're 22.
Either way, you win.
Either way, you win.
Go you.
He could get tits too, and then he'd be really no, and a Harley. Tits and a Harley fix everything. Okay. As a comic creator at conventions, is it even fair for other artists to only sell fan art while the real creators get ignored? Unfortunately, that's comic book conventions are geeky no,
not
offense.
Me.
They're flea markets, and people buy what they know, and it's very hard to make a go of it at a comic book convention selling only your original comics. I mean, I stopped selling comic books at comic book conventions because nobody was buying comic books. From me or from anybody else. They weren't buying comic books.
Yeah, it's true. It is. So, it's just walls of prints, and half time aren't even theirs. I mean, that's a whole
nother discussion.
Yeah, whether people are stealing people art online, and it's like, well, it's online, it's free, I can print it and sell it. It's like, no, that's not how it works. At this point, I'm done hoping that the industry saves itself. Yeah, I agree. It's not going to.
It's not going to.
It's satisfying watching it collapse. The idiots working at Marvel and DC deserve it. Yes, but it's like at this point, what's going to save comics in general isn't going to be mainstream. I don't think it's going to be.
No, I think you're always going to have corporate comics. I think even if it dwindles down to nothing, I think DC right now with their Walmart books, especially, they're building a life raft. Like, they know,
which is smart.
It is smart. They know that the direct market is living on borrowed time. They're getting these books out into Walmarts now because they know that's kind of where the future is going to be. Kind of like with Archie. I mean, with the digest and stuff. I mean, honestly, Marvel and DC should have been doing that all along, and
it also goes to what I said earlier. When you get it out there to more places and more people that are in the that aren't in comic people see it, they might be like, "Whoa, wait, I like this. I wonder other comics are out there," and they might find other places too.
Yeah.
So it helps everybody, I guess, in a way.
But it's a big internet. I think what's kind of freaking people out too. Is that if you're going to survive in this new comic book economy, whatever it's going to look like, you're going to have to sell directly to consumers. And if you're really shitty at dealing with consumers, and you're shitty to people on Twitter, people aren't going to buy your books. And you're not going to work in comics. You're not going to have these publishers, working to promote your stuff anymore. You're going to have to promote your stuff yourself. And that is hard. Well, you can't just walk into a warmed seat and sit down.
Well, that's why I think if you come from a background like webcomics or something, you've already been doing this. You already know how to do that because you've had to.
Right.
So I'm just saying, was this?
You're gonna have to be scrappy.
If DC, have grit. If DC was smart, they'd side with Comicsgate gets more. You know what gets me? You ever hear some big hacker that goes and does something and does hacks into the government or whatever, and then the government turns around like, holy shit, and then they go and hire the person that beat the system because they're like, well, we don't want them working against us. Come on over to, come over here. We got cookies.
Yeah, you would think.
You'd think that when these things are doing really, really, really well, that, normal businesses would be like, okay, we'll just, see if they want to come over here and we'll publish it and carry the cost for you to come work for us. Win-win. I'm not saying people would agree to that. I'm saying you think they'd try that. And one person did, and that ended bad for them because they got threatened to carry the book. But I'm just saying that would be what common sense, one would think. But they don't. It's better to raise hell, and then every time they want and argue about it, it just brings more attention to it, and then they go up. Like the indies go up on the crowdfunding. Yeah,
this is what they don't understand. It's actually so freaking funny to watch this. I'm like, the more you guys try to shut the haters, quote unquote, down, the bigger they become. Like if they had just left the guys on YouTube, the critics on YouTube alone to just make their lo-fi videos on YouTube and not called any attention to them.
They made their own problems.
They made their own enemies. Like they would have just kind of did their thing on YouTube and it would have been, whatever. Nobody would have really cared a whole lot, but I think they started to see the numbers.
That they had would still come either way because people were very unhappy.
Right, but they can't stand it. They can't stand that.
But then them bringing it out to drag them out, all it did was like people saw it like, oh yeah, they feel how I feel, and they all went that way. That was really dumb. I don't know why they did that.
They did because they thought they could. They can't control the YouTubers like they can control the comics press, like they can control the mainstream media.
This is what I always think too. That Torga DW said, "The more you tighten your grasp, the more." That's what I always think too.
The more star systems will.
Every time I think about
fingers.
that, I can't tell you how many times that quote has gone through my head when I'm thinking about it. It's just I don't know. The whole thing's just I counted 3 boobs between the girls working on the She-Ra reboot. I didn't count the boobs because you're not allowed to look at boobs because boobs don't make you a woman.
In another universe, She-Ra would also have tits. Anyway,
She-Ra did have tits.
Joseph McCafferty says, I have seen a view the anti-comic gators state that they don't see these Indiegogo fundraising as consistent. They don't expect comics gators to be able to sell more future issues. If they keep trying to smack down fans publicly and they keep trying to control the creators and the publisher and the publishers and the fans with these Gestapo techniques, these Indiegogos will absolutely get bigger because people do want to buy comic books. They do want to buy comic books. They just don't want to buy comic books from people they hate.
I think what's going to happen if they don't do well in the future is because the quality I think is going to determine it too. I mean, if people they get a lot of money because they but they don't put out quality product, it might not sell again. It might just be a one-time thing. But I think as long as you put a quality product out, and that's an awful lot of money for marketing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as long as you have the marketing dollar, you have the push for the marketing, and you put out a quality product, I think you're gonna do more of the books. You're gonna do more.
Yeah, they're gonna do more because what's gonna happen is it's gonna get bigger and bigger. I think what's going to happen, again, I think this is going to. It's called Comicsgate for now. It's more of a right wing thing for now, I guess. I don't think it's going to stop there. I think what's going to happen is that more people from all political bents from other parts of the comic book industry are going to start supporting this new movement, whatever this is going to look like. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start getting people that aren't Republican. You're going to start getting people that maybe aren't like mainstream superhero comics, but they do have comics.
The generalization that you're automatically Republican if you're this, you're automatically
so
Democrat for that is dumb. Maybe they didn't fight what they hate, but work to save what they love. Good comics. Yeah, as I said, I think if they just looked at the thing and said, okay, look, you know what? Things aren't selling. Why aren't they selling? And then tried to fix the situation and say, hey, I'm sorry, guys. Well, we were going to mention Aubrey Citizen making the comment about that he's getting a wrestling book, but his other book got tanked because of but he blamed it on Comicsgate.
Aubrey Citizen got his book canceled because Hasbro flipping hit the roof, and the vets that he insulted didn't buy his comic. I mean, it's as simple as that. Who's gonna buy your book when you're insulting people? I mean, you're insulted freaking America, man.
He's trying to make it about something it's not.
And you're working on a patriotic comic, and you insulted so many people. And even Larry Hama, who's come out against Comicsgate, has said that, that was not a good thing to say.
In that situation, for example, I mean, damage was done, yes. But you might have gained some ground by saying, hey, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. It was really stupid.
Yeah.
I was really, I was there. It's really emotional for me. I'm not saying it would have won everybody back, but a heartfelt apology that you meant might have done some good. I'm just saying. So I'm just like, you have an issue and it's not working. You look and see what the problem is, and you fix it. That's what, I think would fix things, but they don't want to do that.
I think here's the thing. Marvel and these other publishers, IDW, may not be asking themselves that question. How can we fix it? How can we do better? I guarantee you Disney is going to ask them that at the board meeting. And they're going to be like, okay, guys, you done fucked up. How are you going to fix this?
Right.
And what they're trying to do is almost like they're trying to sweep these Indiegogo guys under the rug in time for that board meeting to be like, oh, look, we took care of Comicsgate. It's gone. Yeah. Now people are going to come back and buy our comics. It's like, nope. They are not.
We are going to have to wrap this up soon.
Yeah, we are. It's, man, that's a good thing we didn't say, hey, we're going to be on an hour.
You're going to, when I said it's not going to be an hour.
We're going to be on an hour.
I was like, it's not going to be an hour.
So this is apparently what's going on in comics now. Again, we just, we worked in comics for years. Not really doing a whole lot in comics right now. And I know I'm sure as hell never going to get called to work in comics again.
To be fair, though, we weren't going to do it anyway.
No, it's bullshit. The money's garbage. No money. There's no money.
Quite frankly, we gave up on comics a long time ago because if you want to be poor, go do comics.
Comics is a great... actually, the first video we were going to do for Clownfish TV when we decided to cover comics, before any of this Comicsgate stuff, actually, and I remember talking to Geeky about it, I'm like, I want to do a video called Don't Do Comic Books for a Living. Do something else really. If you want to do comic books, make your comic books, but don't make it your day job because, to be honest with you, the money isn't there. The money's not there.
You're just going to be miserable and you're going to,
You're going to wind up being miserable and bitching at people on Twitter.
Whatever the hell you do not quit your job to go, I'm going to go quit my job for what I have no reason to think that I can live on this for full time. I've seen so many people do this.
So many people have done that.
I have decided that because my mom and my friends say I'm good, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow and I'm just going to do comics full time. Do you have an audience? No, but I will because I'm good. Do you have leads on a job in the industry? No, but I'm just going to put in and I know I'll get a job because I have a degree from blah blah university. Yeah, so I know I'll get it.
These are actual conversations we've had with young creators.
It's like, and then they quit, and then I'm like, oh shit, I can't pay my bills. What am I going to do? Please, here's a GoFundMe. I need to pay for my electric bill. GoFundMe, and this is what happens because by all means make comics. I want you guys to go out there and make comics. We need good comics. Go out there and create good comics. But understand, too, that you probably don't want to quit your day job until you have a huge fan base that supports you to create comics.
Yeah, and it's totally possible. I mean, it is even in indie comics, it is in web comics, but, like, these people are just, like, the entitlement is off the chart. Like, I need to just, quit my job and go make comics because, my God, I can't work retail with my degree from whatever prestigious art school I wasted my parents' money on, and it's just the money is garbage for most people in comics.
It is. I mean, we don't. We're gonna let us do comics. You're not gonna let us scrape and not have enough money to pay our bills. Oh damn! How? Why are you punishing me?
Lady Hawk, we have to talk about. Okay, so being the Disney watchers that we are, there's going to be some serious shit going on with Disney going into 2019. Disney actually, now they use parks and resorts. They use Walt Disney World and Disneyland attendance to basically pick up the slack for all of their other losses. So if Solo doesn't do well at the box office, that's okay. They got Disney World money to pay for it. Well, the attendance is dropping off in Disney World.
Yeah, it's down compared to what their estimations were at this time of year. So as a result, they are already starting to cut a bunch of things in parks and resorts, which is their moneymaker. Mm. So, it's going to be interesting to see what else they throw overboard because they're already cutting. Yeah,
they're cutting all kinds of expenses at Disney World. And Disney World makes the money. They're like Disney World and Disneyland are their biggest moneymakers in the entirety of the Walt Disney Company. Those theme parks generate a huge chunk, and they've got all this overhead with Fox and with their streaming service, and Disney's going to be looking to cut some corners next year, and it would not surprise me if Marvel Comics is affected on some level by these cuts, because Marvel Comics does not justify its existence at this point. I mean, to be completely honest, like it's there because it's always been there, but it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
So
we just covered this earlier on Disney thing, is that they are making cuts. They're getting rid of some actors that have been there for a while. They're getting rid of some different shows they have. They're getting rid of some different things because their attendance is down, and they got to make the money back somehow. And they have no problem cutting things to pay for other things.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're going to do.
Disney's merciless, and they're going to be asking. A lot
of things are betting money in right now.
They
have
are.
To make it up.
Yeah, they are, and they're going to be asking some tough questions, I think, of Marvel, which is why you're seeing the freaking out. I think right now is they're going to be asking, because that's coming up in a couple of weeks. The board meeting, they're going to be like, "Okay, guys, what's Marvel Comics bringing to the table? We know what the movies are bringing to the table. What are you guys specifically bringing to the table? Because if you don't have a good answer for us, hey, we could just kick all these books over to IDW and the hell with it."
Which they already started doing.
They already started doing it.
Which you called that a couple
People
years ago,
told me I was crazy. No. Have you seen the Kelly Sue DeConnick interview? Yeah, I think I did, and I got bored.
I don't know.
She talked about herself a lot. Okay. Star Wars toys are doing badly. Yes, they are. They're doing very bad. Star Wars, and they're betting everything on Star Wars next year with Galaxy's Edge. And I hope that it's a bet. That they win, because they're sinking a lot of money into it.
Oh no, they're not going to fail with that one. I really don't think they will. So
people are going to go anyway. I mean, like Avatar,
they have
Pandora,
enough old things tied into it too, that even with the new movies not doing well.
Falcon's going to be sitting there. He doesn't want to see the Falcon.
It's going to do well. No matter how much you don't like the new movies, that's going to do well. I have no doubt.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up, guys. Just want to touch base with you. We haven't talked in a couple days, and again, I'm going to give you the link to the Discord. If you guys want to chat,
Dragon Prince now. It's getting late.
Well, we'll watch some Dragon Prince because we do want to get a review up this week. Halfway in, freaking love it. I like to see
my kids too.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, yeah, we gotta see the kids. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight and the conversation and super chats. And sorry we're weird, and I'm not planning on getting tits.
I hope not.
You better not be.
I don't want. I don't want a competition for mine.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird. Okay. All right. Have I told you that I love you? No, but thank you very much for that. Kiss. Oh, ooh. Okay.
All right. We'll see.
I'm not. This is not the other universe, though. So don't go getting any funny ideas there, Matt.
We'll see you guys later.
See ya. Bye.